You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. So this episode would just be me. I know episode 2, I gave everyone kind of a rundown of what was going on in my life as far as getting a divorce and dealing with, alcohol, porn, sex, and I'm just going to give you like kind of an update on how things are going. Things that I need to continue to work on, things that I've now, I'm understanding about myself. And hopefully it can, kind of help you in this process, in a process of, learning about yourself more and growing. So the first thing is still getting divorced. We're just kind of waiting on the paperwork. It's not that I want it, because I don't want the divorce. But I also, you can't force someone to be with you. And there is trauma that has occurred that I created in the relationship. And, sometimes it can't be overlooked. And so that's just kind of where it's at. That's where it stands right now. The divorce is happening. You can't waste your time or energy trying to make something work when the other person doesn't want to make it work. And it's not anything like negative towards the other person. It's just they feel that they have a better chance of being single and finding someone that, matches their style, and that's totally fine. So No Nut November was a fail. Still some things I need to work on as far as, watching porn and masturbating. Alcohol hasn't been a factor, and I think that's really helped me understand and process things. But it also sucks because alcohol was also something that I ran to forget, and I'm not able now to run to alcohol to forget. So I have to deal with, like, when I have urges, or when I want to make a phone call, or when I want to cuddle. I know that it's not something that I need to do at this point in my life, because I'm just not. I'm not there yet, and the only thing I could give someone in any type of relationship is sex. Trust me, I tried when we first, was going through a divorce. I did what I normally do. I, started drinking more. Ran out there and I tried to start another relationship, just because I've never really been alone in my life. Like, I've always had, like, someone there. If it was just like a booty call, sneaky leak is what they call them now. Potential girlfriend or someone that I hung out with. Like, I always had someone in my life. And so when the divorce and stuff was popping off, I ran out there to find somebody, and it just didn't feel right. And that's one thing about growing and finding yourself, you can't run and do the same things that you've always done once you start to grow. And so we hooked up a couple of times. I realized, like, listen, this is not, I can't give her anything at this moment. Hell, I can barely give myself anything. So like, I don't want to drag anyone else into like all of this drama and trauma and mess. And so, I ended it, because I just knew, at the end of the day, I want to be the best person I can possibly be. And dealing with my trauma, dealing with, past pains, dealing with the demons that I have created over my lifetime, I feel is best, going forward. So no nut November. I failed 6 days into it. Just lonely. I've never, again, I've always had someone, but I've really distanced myself from a lot of people, and this feeling of loneliness sucks. You go home, there's no one there. Good things happen in your life. You don't really have anyone to talk, to talk about those good things that have happened in your life, and so you kind of just get discouraged. You get sad. There is a level of anxiety of like, will I ever find someone again? Do I deserve to be with anyone? And then, depression, comes in where you think no one wants you, and you're not dateable. And I think that's the toughest part of having those conversations in your head and telling yourself that they're not true. Telling yourself that you're in this process, you're going through a process, and you just have to go through this process to get better, to learn about yourself, and to grow. And it's not necessarily like, people don't want to be around you, or people don't like you, or you'll never find anyone, because, I will. There's nothing, saying that I won't. It's just, I sometimes still want to just run out and forget it all. But in this growth process, it's not allowed. You know that you have to go through it to grow through it. And so that's just kind of where I'm at in this moment. So the month of November, I failed 4 times. And then the last day of November, someone came over the house, and so that happened. We all use your imagination. So November wasn't what I wanted it to be. But what I'm taking from No Nut November is, one, I didn't drink. And so that is a plus for me. I didn't drink a lick of alcohol. I kind of dealt with a lot of things. There was a lot of self-awareness. I became more aware of why I wanted to watch porn, and why I masturbated, and why I wanted to have sex. And it was, something that I never was aware of. If I had an urge, I just took care of the urge. And so now, there's an urge. And I'm not, there was more than four or 5 times I wanted to in November, but those were just the times where I just, was at my weakest. But I also know that I have to put myself on a schedule. I just can't aimlessly be up at night because I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be Netflix and chilling by myself because I might see something or something might, show up, and then my mind will start racing, and there I go. So, um, it's not nothing to be embarrassed about because I'm not embarrassed. Trust me. This is an issue that, uh, again, porn is $1 billion industry. So, it's not just me, having these issues or going through, what I'm going through now. But I'm just more aware of it. I'm thankful that I'm more aware of it so that I can now, focus and get better on when I feel that urge, working on things to do. And so some of the things that I've started to do when I, feel the urge to like watch porn is, I jump on my bike and go for a bike ride. I recently bought I've been an avid reader, and so that's something that I do now. And I jump on a book and I start reading and start writing, and I'll journal, what I'm feeling at that moment and why I feel like I want to watch porn. Um, I I go work out or do push-ups and sit-ups at the house uh, to just kind of get myself tired, right? Um, and this is my something that I want to do. I'm not saying watching porn is bad or anything. If you and your spouse are in that whatever in that phase, or if that's what y'all do, I'm not saying you can't do it. Me personally, I just know that it messes with my mind mentally. I start viewing women as objects. I just want to have sex. I don't want to get to know or learn about a person. Uh, they're there for one reason and one reason only. And then once I get what I get, I kind of go on to the next one. It's kind of messed up, but that's just kind of what it is. And so this is a battle that I'm facing. And some people might not be facing the same battle. And that's totally fine, but that's just kind of where I'm at. So no nut November, kind of went through that. December. One thing that I dealt with was I was supposed to go to Dallas to be with my family for Thanksgiving, and I did not have the energy at all whatsoever. So I ordered crab legs and shrimp from Hooters, and I stayed in my apartment all day, Thanksgiving Day, and just like I bought a big bean bag, and so I was just on the big bean bag, and I was just like in my feels, like 100% in my feels, because again, I don't blame anyone as to why I'm getting a divorce. I blame myself. There were things I should have done. There were traumas that I should have dealt with before jumping into the marriage. I just didn't know about. And so Thanksgiving was pretty tough because I did want to go hang out with the fam, but I was also I was mad at myself that I had put myself in this predicament, that I don't have my family to go to, my wife, our 3 dogs, the house. I didn't have that. And I think it really hit me very hard Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, so I just chilled. I didn't pick up the phone, didn't call anybody. I just kind of just processed it. And I think in this, like, in this time of like brokenheartedness and hurt, I haven't picked up the phone a lot because I want to feel this pain. I want to feel it because I never want to go through it again, but I also never want to put someone else through it because, I'm feeling this pain. I'm assuming that she's also feeling this pain. She's feeling, this hurt, this frustration. And so, there are times where I just want to run and just say I want to forget it all, and I don't want to go through this. But I know that if I continue down this path and I go through it, it's just going to make me a better man. And at the end of the day, I want to be a better man for myself first, and then for the people that are in my life, because they deserve the best me and not someone who doesn't even know who they are as a person or as a man. So again, No Nut November was a fail. Thanksgiving, painful. Christmas, we have people coming over, and I'm going to be going to Crane, and I'm going to be around family, and so it won't be as depressing. I have my nephews over right now, and so they're playing Madden and having a good time, and so I'm glad that I can be in their lives and impart with them some type of wisdom as to what to do to take care of themselves, but also to take care of the people that are in their lives. So that's kind of November and kind of what popped off. December has been a little bit better, only because I still feel alone. I still feel, saddened that I couldn't, fix this marriage. But I also feel free because no one can hold a light to me and say, hey, this is, some negative things that, you're dealing with. Because I've essentially put it all out there. And I get to now, be my true self, 100% authentic. You get the good, you get the bad, you get the ugly, you get it all with me now. Like, I don't have to fake or hide behind trying to be a perfect man, because I was never a perfect man, and I'm never going to be a perfect man. I strive to be the best man that I can possibly be. So December has really been an eye opener for me. Still working on, being aware of my feelings and my emotions, and trying to exude that out into the community that I'm in. But I've also there's I guess there's what am I trying to say? There's a limit to like how much you can put out there and to how much you can say before people, I guess, start to lose respect. And I don't know that limit because I'm not looking for people to respect me. I'm looking for people to say like, okay, this dude is trying to live his best life. He's being real and he's not holding anything back. So December has been a good month, as far as me coming into like who I am as a person, me trying to continually work on being the best version of myself, and not running towards the things that I normally run to because I don't want to feel the pain. The pain, I think, is where you grow. I I feel pain. But not only for me, for the people that were involved, like I feel their pain too. I wasn't empathetic enough to feel, what she was going through. And now, like, I understand that pain that she was going through, because, like, being heartbroken sucks, right? And I believe, like, there were multiple times where I had broken her heart, where she had, believed in me and believed in, the person that I was, saying I was, and I wasn't, and our heart was broken. And has happened like numerous of times. And now that I have a broken heart, I feel what she felt, to an extent. Like, I can't feel exactly what she felt, but it sucks. And that's something that I called, Erica, and I explained to her, and I apologized to her. I'm sorry. Like, if this is a feeling that you felt like this, it's not a feeling that I would want anyone else to ever have again, in my lifetime, caused by me. And so again, I think the pain has helped me grow, because I'm not running from, these issues. I'm not running from, the childhood traumas that I have dealt with. I'm not running from the trauma that I've seen, in the Army. I'm not running from the trauma that I have caused. I have to sit in it. And in sitting in it, you try to find solutions. How did I get here? Why am I here? Because it's easy to blame Erica. Like, that's the easiest thing to do as a human being. I can blame you for why my life is the way it is. And it takes the pressure off of me and puts the pressure on you. You're the person that messed up. You're the person that, caused, all of this. And again, I live by 3 philosophies. The first philosophy is you are the creator of your atmosphere. If you do not like the atmosphere that you are in, simply create a new one. You don't have to stay in an atmosphere if the atmosphere isn't conducive to what you need in order to live your best life. You do not have to stay there. It's a choice that you make. You can create the life. You can create the atmosphere that you want in your life, right? And that's just by not putting yourself in situations that causes stress or grief or anxiety. If there's people in your life that, when they come into your life, it gets heavy, there's a lot of negativity, don't be around those people, right? Because that atmosphere is, you're walking into it, and people can affect the atmosphere that you're in as well. So in order for you to create the best atmosphere that you can possibly create, 1, you have to work on yourself. And then 2, you have to make sure, like, there's good people that are around you in your atmosphere, because they can also bring your atmosphere down. The second thing is, drama doesn't just walk into your life. You either create it, you invite it, or you associate with it. So if there is any amount of drama that's in your life, you cannot blame anyone for that drama. You slide to the left, you look at that person in the mirror. That's the reason why there's drama. That's the reason why. You're inviting it, or you're associating with it. And so you can't blame other people as to why there's drama in your life. Again, it's easy. I can easily say, well, she didn't do this, and this, and that's why there's drama. But I didn't do this, and that, and that's why there's drama. If I would have done this, there wouldn't have been that, right? So 1, You are the creator of your atmosphere. 2, drama doesn't walk into your life. You either create it, you invite it, or you associate with it. And 3, everything is your fucking fault. I hate to say it that way, but that's the only way I can say it for people to understand. Everything is your fucking fault. I don't get to blame people for why my life is the way it is. It's my fault. And even if it's not my fault, it's still my fault because I don't have the energy or time to try to say, well, because they did this. No. There's no point to that. Find out what you can do better for you so that you can grow and be the best that you can possibly be. So everything is my fault. So I can't blame Erica for anything because I didn't do what was necessary for me. I didn't grow enough. I didn't learn enough. I didn't stop the nonsense that I was doing while married to really see the damage that I was doing. And I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, Stephanie, and I was telling her like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And she was like, bro, you sound like an idiot. She didn't say that directly, but that's how I took it. You sound like an idiot. You're not taking you're trying to say, well, I'm being accountable, but that's not accountability how you're saying it. And I was like, damn it, you're right. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make myself out to be the good guy. And I am a good guy, but in that situation, in those circumstances, I wasn't a good guy. And so I have to embrace that. I wasn't a good guy. I was an asshole. I was selfish. I wasn't thinking about the relationship as a whole. I only cared about myself. And there's this big thing about narcissistic traits. And, everyone is calling everyone a narcissist. Like, oh, this is what you are. But I've also been diagnosed with PTSD. I'm hot or cold. Either I'm happy or I'm not happy. And that's something that I'm working on too. Finding that middle ground. I don't have to be hot or cold, right? And so there was just a lot of things mentally that I wasn't doing for myself to make my relationship better. And then, in the very beginning, I was trying to blame her. Well, she didn't do this, or this. And then I was like, no, you can't do that. Like, be accountable. And then I had that conversation with Stephanie. And she was like, yeah, it still sounds like you're not being accountable. And so I really had to because that hurts. It really does. It hurts. You don't want to accept the things that you have done that has hurt someone. You want to find ways that she was involved in it to where it's like, oh, okay, it was a us thing and not a me thing. And it was 100% a me thing. And so I just, at that point, I just stopped running from trying to make it a us thing and just realize this is a me thing. I have to go through this. I have to figure things out. And again, I'm still figuring things out. It's only, been around 6 months. But I know the first 2.5 months were just a blur. I don't remember most of it. I was always drunk, always partying, going to bed 6, 7 o'clock, waking up, doing it all over again. And then October, maybe the middle of October, I started to realize this can't be my life. I want to be a positive role model to young boys and men all over the world. And in order to do that, I have to face my demons. I have to face the things that I've never faced in my life. I've ran from them. Alcohol, sex, porn, masturbation. I am a runner. And mid-October, I stopped running. And I'm now dealing with my shortcomings, my issues, my demons. And I'm picking up rocks and I'm uncovering things and I'm realizing just how screwed up I was mentally. And so now that I'm uncovering things and I'm finding things out, I want to put this information out for all men, for all young boys. You don't have to live the life that society is telling you to live. You don't have to be destructive. You don't have to not show your feelings. You can be open and you can be vulnerable. And you can be hurt, you can be in pain, and you can cry. And that's normal. And people are going to try to put you back in that box and tell you to man up and men don't cry and stop being so emotional. Those people are stupid. Because as a human, you're meant to release these things. You have to release these things. Or they'll build up. And you'll find a way to release them. And it's never in a good way. So this podcast, what I really want to accomplish with what I'm doing with this company, I want it to be a lifestyle company. I want people to realize that you don't have to fight, these battles alone. And I haven't. I've had people in my life that have helped me along the way to help me process some of the things that I am going through. So shout out to Edme, Lapita, Maribel, Christy, Exilia, Josh, Adam, Cliff, my mom, my brothers, my brother, my sisters, my aunts, they would call and they would say, it's okay. I've been divorced. You're gonna figure it out. It's gonna get better. Josh really dropped some knowledge when he got on the podcast. And so there's just people that have, been in my life. Justin Kelsey, we normally have, like, after the 5 a.m. class at CrossFit, we have a, once a week, we just like have a good conversation about life and women and men and masculine energy and feminine energy and confidence, soul ties. Like, we just really have like a great conversation, right? And it, we're helping each other grow, like, in this moment. And so this is, this is why I'd love, shout out CrossFit 432, because it's not just about, working out and getting your body mentally, or your body, physically prepared, just for life's adventure. But you sometimes find people, like, who are trying to grow and be the best they can possibly be. And they also help you, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally in that process as well. And so I've had conversations at my gym that have kickstarted, some things that I might talk about on my Facebook or Instagram page, or I might post on my Facebook or Instagram page. And so, I'm not doing this, like, alone. There are people who care. Hell, people who don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, they still help you in this process. The people who care and the people who don't care. Because you still learn from them in some way or another. Oh, that's the energy of someone who doesn't care about what I'm going through. Oh, well, that's the energy of someone who is really talking about me behind my back. So I get to learn from like people who are trying to use what I'm going through in a negative way to make themselves look good. And I'm also learning from people who are, you know, they see me as just like, hey, this man is a human being and he's flawed. And I respect that because of his flaws and he's speaking about them. I can, tell him about, some of my flaws and things that I've dealt with. And so it's just, again, it's just a beautiful thing. You don't have to be alone. And hell, you can't be alone in a process like this. And you really want to make sure you surround yourself with people who have your back. I'm not saying the people that I had around me in the beginning didn't have my back, because I don't know if they really had my back or not. All I know is I was cool when I was drunk. I was the cool guy, twerking on the wall and running around with his shirt off and just doing crazy things. But once I stopped drinking, there was a shift. And I'm not sure if it was a shift within them or a shift within me. Or hell, I'm not sure if they like saw or heard like me talking about the things I'm going through, and it probably turned them off. Like, oh, he's a crap dude or whatever. Like I just don't know. But there was a shift. And that created a space of loneliness that I needed in order to grow. And I'm still in that space of loneliness, right? And I'm still, trying to figure things out and grow. But I know now that I can't blame anyone. I can't blame alcohol. I can't blame porn. I can't blame sex. I can't blame childhood traumas. I can't blame any of that on, my actions. I can learn from those things and become better because of those things. I view them as it made me strong. It's going to make me a stronger person in the long run. It sucks that I had to go through what I had to go through in order to realize that. But it sucks even worse because I put other people in it with me. And I think that's the part that sucks the most. Like, no one deserves to be bled on. And I brought all this trauma and all this baggage, and we all do. Most of us do. Into this relationship, into this marriage. And I was working on myself. But then you just get lost sometimes in the sauce. And then you work on yourself and you get lost, and you work on yourself and you get lost, and then you become comfortable. You stop growing. You stop trying to be your best self for you first. And then boom, a divorce happens. And it honestly expedited everything that I'm doing right now. This podcast, 2 years in the making. I was talking about this podcast 2 years ago. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a podcast. I got divorced, or I'm getting divorced. October 29th, first podcast. Like, it's just crazy. There are things that I'm working on now. Support groups and books and trainings, mentor groups. There are things I'm working on now that I was talking about 2 years to a year and a half ago of what I wanted to do. And because of this divorce, it honestly has kickstarted everything that I need to do in my life. It really has, which is crazy, because I was so comfortable. And maybe this was God saying you can't be comfortable. If I if you're telling me you want to change the world, if you're telling me you want to be the light or my light for people to see, you can't be comfortable. Whew. And so he will push you into a place of uncomfortability, and you have no other choice but to look at yourself and to work on yourself and to look to him for that strength and that guidance. Because that's top thing. That's the only thing that's really keeping me in this place of growth, in this place of thankfulness. I am more thankful today than I've been in my entire life, because I'm experiencing life on a different level, a different plane. My perspectives have changed, and I'm not sure where I'm going with this podcast and with the things that, God has, placed into my heart. But what I do know is it's just the beginning. Like, there's a motivation, there's a drive, there's an ambition that I have within me that I didn't have while married, because I think I was just too comfortable. I was, the income was coming in, was making good money. I didn't have to, get uncomfortable. Thought I was living my best life. And the crazy part was I prayed for it. I prayed for it, God help me change the world. I want to make an impact. This is not the way I wanted to make the impact, but because I'm here, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the opportunity that you've given me to speak my truth, because someone is going to need it. Someone needs to hear it. And I'll tell this to the men. Ma'am, I'm so motivated to help men out in this movement, in their relationships, in their life. And this is just, coming from a guy going through a divorce. It is 100% preventable. You have to put your ego aside, your pride aside, what society says a man has to be. And you have to pay attention to not only your feelings, but her feelings, the kids' feelings, because they matter just as much as yours. And I put a Facebook post out. I see a lot of guys trying to rule their household. A lot of guys saying, this is what I expect from you. Do what I say, don't do what I do. And to me, if you're trying to rule your household, you're ruling it by fear. No one respects you. They fear you. So when you come home, everyone's running to their room. Everyone's trying to act like they're doing something because you're the ruler of that castle. And that's what society is, telling a lot of these young men and just men in general. You have to rule with an iron fist, or your lady won't respect you. My perspective, you can't rule. You can't run anybody. You can't control your wife or your kids. And the fastest you understand that, your life will get better. You can't control the people that are in your life. What you do is you lead. You lead by example. You show up. You don't just bring home the money and go lay on the couch and watch the football game. If she needs help in the kitchen, you stop what you're doing and you go help her in the kitchen. If your kids need help with their homework, you stop what you're doing and you go help your kids with their homework. Men who lead their house are respected. When they come home, their kids and their wife isn't running around trying to act like they're doing something. When they come home, their wife and their kids run out to them, and they're glad that they're home because you're supposed to be their peace. Again, atmosphere. A lot of men try to blame the atmosphere at the house on their spouse, on their kids. And it's the atmosphere that you have. If you don't like the atmosphere at your house as a man, you have to look in the mirror. You're the reason why the atmosphere is the way it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you, as a man, don't like the atmosphere at your house, you have to change how you're treating the people that are at your house. And as a man, you simply cannot rule over your household. You have to lead. That's just one of many things that I want to talk about, and continue talking about with this podcast and with this movement that I'm trying to create. Because at the end of the day, men, this world needs you. We need men, but not no weak men who abuse and hit women, who can't control their urges, who just goes to work, comes home, drink, sleep, repeat. We don't need those type of men in this world. We can see what happens when men are doing that. They're committing suicide at a higher rate. The violence is just astronomical, especially in this community alone. You see young men, 16, 17, 18, feel like they feel like they have to carry guns to protect themselves. And they're shooting people. And their whole lives are now destroyed. We simply don't need men being destructive. And that's what's happening. The suicide rate, the violence, the domestic violence, the sexual assaults. We die earlier than women. DWIs. The drinking. It's just a lot of things that we as men are doing that's not protecting our family. And we have to start calling that shit out. It's not okay. The state of man is not okay. Men, we're not okay. We're trying to figure it out, and we're simply not doing it in the correct way. And you don't have friends or people that are in your corner calling your shit out because we're too afraid of pissing people off. Well, hey, we got to change that. If I'm your friend and I see you doing dumb shit, I'm going to call you out on it. My boy Justin. Shout out to Justin. Grenada. I always fuck up his name because it's funny, but it's not. He'll probably beat me up. But he saw me kind of spiraling. He just straight up. I mean, he didn't say a whole lot. He just said, get your shit together, bro. And in my head, I'm like, fuck you. But I knew I needed to get my shit together. You know what I mean? I knew I needed to get my shit together. And by him saying that also helped me in that process in October to hey, you know what? This ain't where I need to be. And I do need to get my shit together. And I haven't got it together, but I'm working on getting it together for a fact. So, yeah, man, this is something that it's going to be an uphill battle because I know a lot of men, they're going to, fight back. Oh, you're just a feminist or you're a woman, whatever, or I'm not any of that. I'm just a regular, schmegular, degular dude that sees a need, not only in this community, but, in the United States and in the world. Men can be better. The violence, if we stop the violence, this world becomes a better place. If men start holding men accountable for their actions, if you hang around friends that tell you stop doing stupid shit, stop cheating on your wife, stop thinking about cheating on your wife, take care of your kids. If we have more men, hold more men accountable for their actions, I think this world will be a better place. But because we as men feel like we can't express ourselves, which is crazy, because putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger is an expression of self. Drinking until you die is an expression of self. Having sex with all these chicks because you feel like that's what you need to do to be a man is an expression of self. Watching porn and masturbating is an expression of self. We're expressing ourselves, fellas. It's just all fucked up. We're not expressing ourselves in the correct way. And so here we are, going on 2022. And I think we can be better. And this is my last thing, and then I'm done. I despise the dudes. But what about the women? Shut the fuck up, bro. We're not talking about the women, man. Like, Jesus. People do it all the time. But I'm like, well, guys are abusive. Well, women are too. Well, yeah, we know that. But it's a 3-to-1 ratio. 75% of men are abusive, 25%, and that's even lower. I believe it's 85-15. Yes, women can be abusive, but we're not talking about the women. That's not the issue. The issue is men. That's where I'm coming from. I could care less about the women. Do they have their flaws? Yes. But the best thing we as men can do is to learn about ourselves and to learn about our flaws and to learn how to set healthy boundaries. So you don't put up with any of the crap that you feel like you put up with women now at this like stage of your life. You don't have to put up with anything unless you want to put up with it. But sometimes you put up with it because you don't know who you are as a person. And then you want to blame the women for like the issues that you're going through. And you simply don't have to do it. They're not to blame. You knew that she wasn't the right person to begin with. She was just giving you the booty. And so you stayed. And then you're mad because like she did what you thought she did what you thought she was going to do. And now you're blaming her for all your heartaches and your pain. No. Gotta stop blaming women. As men, we gotta start working on ourselves, growing, figuring out what we want in life, being in our purpose, knowing our how, our what, and our why. And then people will come to your life. You don't have to chase. You don't have to try to impress. You're just being who you truly are as a person, as a man. And that's the attraction. That's how people are attracted to you. Go on a tangent, my bad. So back to it. Again, it's not about the women. This podcast is not about the women and what they do and how they do and whose fault it is, because it's just stupid. It's no one's fault. You have to get better for you. Learn about you, your downfalls, your demons, the things that you like. Learn how to communicate and set healthy boundaries so that you don't put up with the crap. It's simple as that. You don't have to put up with the crap if you don't want to. But you have to know thyself. And you can't know thyself trying to blame the other gender as to why you are where you're at. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother podcast that we will most likely get into. So, I appreciate y'all for the support, for listening. I hope y'all continue to listen. I hope the content that is being brought is something that is productive, something that you can learn and grow from, because that's the whole point of this. We want to help build higher value men. We want to help build high value men and bring clarity to women as to why men do the things they do. But I also want to have a conversation with women too, right? It's not just like it's just all about men or whatever. Like I want to get perspectives from all angles, because I know for a fact that men can be better in this society, in this world, and it can't be. We can't be quiet anymore. We have to speak up. We have to start talking about these issues, because this next generation of young men, they need this generation of men to start stepping up and start showing the way. Stop being quiet, because this next generation of young boys, I'm telling you, they need us as men. So, again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. Share this podcast if it's helping you in any way. Like it, subscribe it, because this is something that I believe is going to change the world. And when I say it's going to change the world, it just might be one person's world, but it's still a world being changed. I love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily motivational and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.